Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. They defeat the San Francisco 49ers, Super Bowl 54, Miami, Florida, 31-20. I am so excited, so happy for one, Andy Reid getting it done. I'm happy for Patrick Mahomes. We're going to break everything down here. But first, I want to give a shout out to our video sponsors, Boss's Ranch. You missed out at your Super Bowl party if you ate wings today or pizza and didn't have some Boss's Ranch with you. For those of you in the Central Texas area, y'all know what's up. Keep supporting HEB, Cold Produce. Check them out. Love me some Boss's Ranch, best darn ranch in all of Texas. So Andy Reid, start with him. And by the way, congratulations to the Hunt family. They win, on NFL 100 and 50 years since their last Super Bowl. So awesome. I believe it was Super Bowl 4 the last time they won a championship. So very, very good stuff. But Andy Reid, somebody who I've always admired, and this was a fun Super Bowl for me because both of these coaching staffs, both of these, the way these organizations came about, and a lot of the players I'm just a fan of, and I appreciate their background and where they've gotten to. And as a Cowboys fan, trying to see what good looks like and how we can steal some of those things and incorporate some of those things to get back to this level, the way the 49ers have ascended back to the level that they belong on. But when you look at Andy Reid and his time, coming from the Green Bay Packers, coming from the Philadelphia Eagles, having a lot of success there, was really the last coach to dominate the NFC East. But the Eagles, for whatever reason, they couldn't get it done with him. They move on to Chip Kelly. He's fired, and he had to find himself again. He starts over with the Kansas City Chiefs, Alex Smith, and they're good. They're solid. The Chiefs have been good for, real solid under Andy Reid. Proficient offenses. They go and trade for Patrick Mahomes in the draft and actually have a plan to develop him and see the gifts and see the comparisons to when Andy Reid had his time with Brett Favre, and cultivating this fast break type of offense that, quite frankly, they're on their way to becoming the Golden State Warriors of the NFL. We talk a lot about what the Ravens have done this year, and they deserve all the awards and accolades they got. The Patriots have been the model of consistency over the last 20 years in the NFL. But right now, there's a wave with the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl before the season started. Reason being, I thought the Chiefs should have won the Super Bowl last season. You look at the D Ford play, which basically swings that entire AFC Championship game. The game was essentially over on the Tom Brady interception. Patriots go on to beat the Rams. I thought the Patriots or the Chiefs would have defeated the Rams in that Super Bowl. But when I saw in the offseason the Chiefs staying the course, doubling down, getting some more speed on the offense, investing in a Tyrann Mathieu, just a couple shrewd moves, Frank Clark coming in, just trying to get the defense good enough and getting back to that point, because their defense was terrible last year. Now it was serviceable. Tyrann Mathieu goes all pro. Chris Jones is there. You see the corner play was a lot better. The secondary play as a whole was a lot better. And I sometimes in this league, you have to just stay the course. You don't have to make drastic changes all the time to try to win. The Chiefs, I could see them staying the course just with, hey, if the Patriots slip a little, we'll probably just have to go through the Ravens. Then the Ravens don't show up. They know they're better than, no disrespect to the Texans. Texans were up 24-0 in that game, but they are a better football team than the Texans. Titans get up, 10-0 in that game. No, or 14, it was either 10 or 14-0. No problem. They're better than the Titans. And over the course of 4 quarters, they'll assert their will. Their offense is inevitable. 49ers, I actually thought these teams were pretty even on paper, and the 49ers did a good job throughout the game, dominating, especially with their defensive line. But this Chiefs offense is inevitable, and they've shown all season long they score in bunches. That also comes from their coach, Andy Reid. He stayed the course his entire NFL career, and he's finally being rewarded for it. because a lot of people like to disrespect this man because of his weight, because of some of the clock management gaffes he's had in the past, the fact that he only won one conference championship game, and people are like, oh, he'll never get over the hump. And we love to, just tag people with these hard, firm labels. He'll never do it. He's incapable of doing it, and all those things. And meanwhile, Andy Reid's always been a really good football coach. Sometimes you're just going to lose because you don't have the best hand. Sometimes you lose and you got to learn from that situation, like Kyle Shanahan will have to do yet again, right? And so that doesn't mean that they're incapable or they're less than. Andy Reid is a great Hall of Fame coach. I think that's been stamped today. He was already there for me because I've seen what he's done with every quarterback, every offensive set he's worked with, and he's always been at the forefront of innovation in this game since he's been a head coach. You look at Andy as a play caller and the leaps and the decision-making by their organization to move from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes, which was controversial at the time. Now he's the MVP. He's the best quarterback in the game. And look, Patrick Mahomes is a long-term issue, right? Because he is the most explosive offensive weapon in the game. Keep this in mind. He won the Super Bowl MVP today, which I thought was deserved. He didn't even play well. Three and a half quarters, he was missing throws. He was late. He was behind. He was struggling under some of the pressure, although I did think he was doing a good job, evading that crazy defensive front that the 49ers have. But there were throws to Tyreek Hill where he's just short. There was throws to Sammy Watkins over the middle off their RPO stuff that were just behind in the dirt, right? But when you're a otherworldly talent, you don't need that much time. It's kind of like boxing with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder always tells people, you got to be perfect for 12 rounds. I just need to be perfect for 2 seconds. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's that Steph Curry effect. And you heard Howie Long talk about it in the post game. That's what you're dealing with here, and that's why I think we're on the cusp of seeing the Golden State Warriors in the NFL, because it's now 2 years. Last year they were in the AFC Championship game. I thought they outplayed the Patriots. They lost on an unfortunate situation where they essentially beat themselves. This year they get it done and win the Super Bowl. And if you look at the AFC. Yeah, the Patriots, until Bill Belichick leaves, I'm always going to have them as competition. The Ravens, another team that this offseason, we got to see them stay the course. Just because y'all lost in a playoff game and it was disappointing and it was a setback doesn't mean that it should impact you in the long. It's always about the long game in the NFL. So the Ravens got to just stay the course and make slight adjustments, not complete overhaul because you didn't win one time. So, but the AFC as a whole, I don't see where the heat is for the Chiefs the way it is. It's going to be a little bit harder path in the NFC with the 49ers because the quarterbacks and the teams are just a little bit higher tier. So, overall, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, man, Texas boy, we Big 12 guy. He's represented this conference proudly. He's brought that Big 12 excitement, that Big 12 offense to the NFL, and really mastered. And he wasn't sharp today. He threw 2 interceptions, but normally he does take a really good care of the football for somebody that does have that gunslinging mentality. And just overall impressed with the brother at the end of the game. 2-minute drill situation, getting his team in the end zone. I think it was like 6 minutes left when they got the touchdown to Kelsey. They get the ball back, and he doesn't miss. He got hot, and they score in bunches. They normally don't. This season they haven't had a tremendous run game. That's actually somewhere they can look to improve in the draft. Although we got to put some respect on Damian Williams' name because he did rush for over 100 yards today, and was pretty clutch for the Chiefs. Trying to keep them balanced even when they were coming back. But credit to their team. Their defense stepped up in key moments. A lot of people are going to look at this and say the 49ers blew this game. Kyle Shanahan, I've already seen people starting to allude, oh, not again. This is like the 28-3 collapse when he was the offensive coordinator on the Falcons. No. Go listen to what Jimmy Johnson said after the game. Not everything is a collapse. Not every situation is a choke job per se. Yes, the 49ers were up 10 midway through the fourth quarter trying to hang on. But when you're going against a great otherworldly talent like a Patrick Mahomes, you're only going to keep those guys at bay for so long. Typically when teams choke or you lose the game or you give the game away, as Jimmy said, there's a play or two that you can point to and say, either we dropped a pass or we blew, just completely blew an assignment or anything like that. There's really not too many points. Not that the 49ers executed the best on the stretch and I could feel them getting tight, but the Chiefs just beat them. For example, Nick Bosa's winning all night long, and at the end of the game, he's still winning, but he's getting to the quarterback, and Mahomes shakes him off multiple times. There's times where D Ford's diving in. He has the opportunity to knock the football out of his hands. Patrick Mahomes, ball doesn't come out. Keeps running, gets yards, gets the team in a third makeable situation. And so those are just great players making great plays. Great defense, better offense. So and then you look at the drive. People are like, well, Kyle Shanahan was too conservative. Well, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? If you're too aggressive with a quarterback who's obviously not at the level of a Patrick Mahomes and a Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's too aggressive and he throws more interceptions or puts the game in harm's way, or they go real quick 3 and out, and then Mahomes gets hot, then you're going to say, well, you were too aggressive, you should have used the run game. But then when he's still trying to kind of stick with the run game and mix it up a little bit, then he gets in run clock, he get in limit possessions, he's also blamed for being conservative. So either way, if you lose, you lose, right? So Kyle Shanahan, like I said with Andy Reid before, stay the course. There's nothing, he's a tremendous coach. And the 49ers were up by 10 in this game because of his play design, because of how well they block, especially on their outside zone runs and their play action stuff, their bootleg. Everything is so well defined for Jimmy Garoppolo. The problem is once the Chiefs are able to turn up the volume with their pass rush and send some heaters his way, credit to Steve Spagnuolo for making adjustments later in the game and putting a lot of pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo, which is what a lot of people wanted to see. Can he step up that moment of crisis, that moment of pressure? Hey, we're up 3. Can you kind of get us some first downs around the clock? Okay, no. We're now down 4. Can you take us on? You have 3 timeouts. Can you take us on that 2-minute drive to win your team the Super Bowl? And he wasn't able to do it today. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, I do think he's good enough to win with. However, I'm not going to blame Kyle Shanahan because he missed the throw where he did have an opportunity to hit Emmanuel Sanders for a long touchdown. Now, those are plays where Patrick Mahomes would also been missing all day, but those type of plays, he hit them when he needed to. And that's what it really comes down to sometimes. So, on the Chiefs side, just timely plays from those guys. Brashad Breeland had a really good game. Kendall Fuller came to play. Chris Jones, the 2nd and 5 play that the 49ers had where they ended up going 3 and out, and then the Chiefs subsequently took the ball and scored again and took the lead. Chris Jones made that play, getting deflection at the line of scrimmage. And so even though you don't see him get the sack numbers that either a Bosa or a Buckner had, his impact on the game, keeping things at bay, at least in the middle of the run, as well as defending the pass when he wasn't able to get home, it's very, very key. As you saw play throughout this game. So I'm just really impressed with both of these teams. I thought it was a well-played football game. It wasn't as up and down as I thought it was going to be, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a little bit more high scoring, almost kind of like how that Saints 49ers game was. But that's my constant message here. Stay the course. The Chiefs did it. They have the ultimate weapon that you really don't have an answer for, especially when you see the mobility that Mahomes has. And I think that's another element of not an element, but another difference between the two quarterbacks today. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have that ability just to go make a play with his legs like that. I do think he's a little bit more mobile than what he's shown this year because he is wearing the knee brace and still recovering from a torn ACL. Also, I need to know what happened to Tevin Coleman. Where'd that brother go? I didn't see him in there. And then some other things that caught my attention. You know, a lot of people are going to talk about, again, Kyle Shanahan not calling the timeout before the half. And, you know, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about conservative versus, you know, being too aggressive and damned if you do, damned if you don't. However, they did complete a big pass to try to get points to George Kittle, which was negated by offensive PI. By the letter of the law, you did see the arm fully extend. I think that's the appropriate call. However, I do feel the fans that are like, well, we got to let guys play out here, and that hasn't been called consistently all year long. It was a very big call, but in my opinion, the correct call. Now, where I do think there was a mistake was that last touchdown. I believe that Damian Williams scored on the go-ahead where you see the brother's wearing the Jordans and he steps on the line. And to me, it was clear that the ball had not crossed the plane, but they said they didn't have, you know, indisputable evidence to overturn the call. But you just think, you know, you have every camera known to man in the world. They're blowing up these 5G cameras and all this technology you have in the stadium. We can't get better shots and better angles to determine because that was a huge play. It would have been 4th and goal, and I was curious to see what Andy Reid would have decided to do. I'm pretty sure he probably would have gone for it in that particular spot. But if I'm the 49ers, I want that opportunity to play 4th down defense, right? So I'm very, very curious to over the next few days to see what people think of that. But guys, the last thing I want to say is this. Have your own opinions about these things, because if I hear people out there listen, because the media is going to push narratives. They're going to push, just like last year, Andy Reid is a choke guy again, and this always happens to his team. So now he's won, so you'll have the coronation of Andy Reid. But the guy that everybody will go after now is Kyle Shanahan. Despite the fact that in 3 years he's completely turned around a roster, him and John Lynch, that had no talent to Super Bowl in 3 years, right? So we'll forget all that, and then they'll go, well, can Kyle Shanahan ever win the big one, go over home? We'll forget the fact that he's 40 years old and, you know, first playoff run as a head coach. They'll forget all those things and context of the game, right? So are there things that he could have done better or wish he had decided to do differently in terms of game flow decisions? Absolutely. But there were things that he nailed from a play design perspective that he got exactly what he wanted from the Chiefs defense. Sometimes the quarterback executed, sometimes the run game executed, and sometimes they did not, and thus the result. So just have your own opinions about these things. Don't let the media just automatically, you know, somebody tweets something or says something on a show and, we automatically run with this narrative and apply that or label a coach or player with that. So just those are my lasting thoughts. Overall, 2 people, 2 teams I really like. And congratulations again to the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Well-deserved, well done. Super Bowl champions. Peace.